Yes, dear students, in the continuation of previous discussion, now next components of the cell, that is the plastid. This plastid is present only in the plant cell, not in the animal cells. It is double membranous structure found only in the plant cells. It is also called the kitchen of the cells because it helps to produce food in the plant. This plastid gives different colors to the plants and their parts. Suppose leaf is green, so that green color of the leaf is due to the presence of chlorophyll. Suppose the flower have various colors, different colors. The flowers having these colors due to the other pigments, that is carotene and xanthophylls. Other parts of the plants like the root. The root is colorless, so they have no color, no pigment. So that is the different parts of the plant. So this plastid is mainly responsible for the pigmentation or color into the plants and their parts. This plastid is known as kitchen of the cells because it produces the food by the process of photosynthesis in the leaves. And you know, as the photosynthesis is a process in which food is produced in presence of the chlorophyll and sunlight. So it contains chlorophyll in it. Here, again, just come to here and see it is a double membranous structure found only in the plant cells. It is also called the kitchen of the cell. That's I have told you earlier. And plastid shows two distinct regions. If you see the structure of the plastid, it shows two distinct regions, that is grana and stroma. This plastid is of three types. Basically, it is of three types: leucoplast, chloroplast, and chromoplast. Leucoplast is present in the root and the colorless part of the plants where food is stored. Chromoplast is present in the color portion of the plant, color structure of the plant like flowers mainly. And chloroplast is present in the leaf and green parts of the plant, wherever green parts of the plant is present, and chromoplast is present in the flowers. So here just we see here, leucoplast, it is colorless. It helps to store the food in the root, right, like radish and stem, etc. So it is a colorless leucoplast. Chloroplast are green plastids. It contains chlorophyll and it is present in the leaves and helps in the process of photosynthesis. So it is called the kitchen of the cells. Chromoplast, that is a color pigment, and it is present in the various parts of the plant like flowers or variegated leaves where you find the different colors. Variegated leaves in the croton, you find the different colors in the leaves of the croton plants. So chromoplasts are variously colored pigment. It contains carotene and xanthophyll. Carotene gives different colors like red, brown, and xanthophyll gives a yellow color in the flowers. So plastid mainly it is present in the plant cell and it is not present in the animal cells. Now come to lysosome. It is very important organ of the animal cells, not in the plant cells. Sometimes plant also contain lysosome, but that is very negligible or incipient. It is known as a suicide bag of the cells because it kills their cells itself by producing the hydrolyzing enzymes or the digestive enzymes, so that the ruptured cells or the dead cells or the unwell cells can be removed from the cell, and in that place of these ruptured cells, new cells can be produced. So this lysosome is very essential in the animal cell because it removes the dead bodies, dead particles, dead cells from the body. It is called the suicide bag of the cells. It is formed by the Golgi complex or Golgi body. So Golgi body produces lysosome here. They occur only in the animal cell, not in the plant cells. They work in defense against bacteria and viruses. It means lysosome protects us from the infection. And if cell is infected, if cell is damaged, then it is removed from our body by this cell organelle, that is lysosome. Next cell organelle, that is the centriole. Centriole is present in the animal cells and they are hollow cylindrical structures. They are arranged at right angle to each other. So these centrioles are arranged at the right angle to each other and they are hollow cylindrical structures. They help in the formation of cilia or flagella. Cilia and flagella, it is a locomotory organ and helps in the movement of the particles or the substance in the cells. So this centriole helps in the movement in the formation of cilia and flagella. It forms spindle fiber at the time of cell division. Spindle fiber is a proteinaceous substance which is attached to the centromere of the chromosomes, and it helps to separate the chromosome at the time of cell division so that equal number of chromosomes can be transferred from parent cells to their daughter cells. So it helps in the formation of spindle, that is centriole, and it is present in animal cells. Now vacuole, it is largely found in the plant cells. It is also double membranous structure. In animal cell, it is present very small inside or incipient, but mainly its function is in plant cells, where it is known as storage house. It stores the materials or the waste in the vacuoles, and whenever it is needed, it is removed from the cells. They are large organelles filled with the liquid or the sap that is known as tonoplast. The liquid or the sap or the vacuole is known as tonoplast. In plant cell it is large, in animal cell it is small or negligible. They store various substances. Just I have told you earlier, it is a storage house of the cell and stores the various substances like waste or any other materials which is in extra or which is not needed by the cell at that time, and whenever it is needed, it is used by the cells, or if the waste is stored in the vacuoles, it is removed out of the cell through the cell membrane. They work in osmoregulation. Osmoregulation means the maintenance of the amount of the salts and the water in our body, and that osmoregulation also helpful in maintaining our metabolic activities of our bodies. Now what is metabolic activity? All the reactions, all the process that takes place in our body, that is known as metabolic process or metabolism. They work in osmoregulation, that is the maintenance of the salts and water in our body, maintenance of internal pressure and the materials in our body, that is called osmoregulation, regulating the movement of the salts and the water, amount of salts and water, or concentration of the salts and water in the body, that is called osmoregulation. And this osmoregulation takes place by the process of osmosis. That is why it is known as osmoregulation. Now question arises, what is osmosis? Movement of water molecules from its higher concentration to lower concentration, that is known as osmosis. Earlier you have read diffusion, where the mixing of molecules takes place. Molecules, they move in the diffusion, but here the movement of water takes place from its higher concentration to lower concentration. In detail we will see in next classes, where we will do some activity to show the process of osmosis. Now this is the main important organ, that is nucleus, which is found in plant cell and animal cell both. This is the master organ of the cells. So it is also called the brain of the cells and controls all the activity of the cells. It is called the brain of the cells. It is surrounded by the nuclear envelope. So nucleus is surrounded by a double membranous structure, that is called nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. In between the nuclear membrane or nuclear envelope, pores are present, that is known as nuclear pore. It contains colorless liquid called nucleoplasm. In the center of nucleus, the liquid is present or the fluid is present, that is known as nucleoplasm. Inside the nucleoplasm, we find the nucleus and the chromosomes. Again, I am telling you, this chromosome is a hereditary materials which contains the genes. So unit of heredity, that is known as gene, and these genes are responsible for the transference of the characters or deciding any characters or development of any characters in the human body or any animals. It contains chromosomes, that is hereditary materials. It helps in the transfer of characters from parents to their offspring. So this transfer of characters from parents to their offspring, that is known as heredity. The unit of heredity, that is known as genes, are present over the chromosomes. As we know, each and every individuals have fixed number of chromosomes. We have 46 number of chromosomes, and these 46 number of chromosomes remains in the pair. That is 2n is equal to 46. 2n is equal to 46. As we know that each and every individuals have fixed number of chromosomes, and we have 46 number of chromosomes. Means basic sets of the chromosome, that is 46. And these basic sets come from one from maternal side and one from paternal side. So it becomes 2n is equal to 46. If we talk about the haploid numbers of chromosomes, that is n is equal to 23. So 23 comes from the maternal side and 23 comes from the paternal sides, and then it becomes 46. So here just you see again, we have 46 number of chromosomes, that is 2n is equal to 46. It is called the basic sets of chromosomes. These basic sets of the chromosomes is present in every individual. Each and every individuals, either it is plants or animals, have the fixed number of chromosomes. So here we have also the fixed number of chromosomes. It is called the basic set of chromosomes. The half of the basic set of chromosome is called haploid. Means half of the basic set of chromosome. We have the basic set of the chromosome, that is 2n is equal to 46. So half number of chromosome, that is n is equal to 23. So this n is equal to 23 is known as the haploid number of chromosomes. The half of the basic set of a chromosome is called the haploid, that is 2n is equal to 23. Chromosome and haploid sets of a chromosome is called genome. The genome, that is a haploid set of chromosome, is known as genome. Okay. Now if we look at the structure of the chromosome, this is the structure of the chromosome present in the nucleus of the cell. So this chromosome contains the centromere in the center, and from this centromere of the center, two arms arises from the upward and downward, that is known as arm of the chromosome. And if you divide this chromosome longitudinally from upward to downward, it becomes chromatid. So this is a chromatid, this is a chromatid, this is also chromatid, and this is also called chromatid. And this chromatid and centromere plays important role in the process of cell division. And as we know, cell division is of two types, mitosis and meiosis. In next class, next lecture, you will see the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cells. Thank you.